Hi everyone, this is Jason Zach from Nathaniel School of Music. In this lesson, we are going to learn quite a lot actually. We are going to learn how to develop speed primarily. Students tend to ask, how can I play faster on the piano, or how can I play those quick runs and fillers and so on. However, it's going to be speed with control in this particular lesson. So to develop control, we would definitely need to build on our confidence, on our timing, and also retain elements of the music like dynamics and build our muscle memory as we are playing through the exercise. So we are going to use the metronome for sure. First off, we are going to just use our body, our foot, and our head to play a piece of music that I composed that you heard in the beginning of the video. Something on E minor, which has one sharp, namely F sharp, a relative minor of G major. So we learn that melody, very easy, and then we learn an arpeggio pattern to support the melody. Okay, a nice beyond the octave kind of arpeggio. I'll also teach you a basic arpeggio if you're not able to cross this. And then we put this together with different speed variations, and we go all the way from quarter notes, crotchets as we call it, to 30-second notes. And all through this process, the melody will retain the same speed. And we are going to play with a metronome throughout the lesson, and then at some points we'll play with our body. And at the end of the lesson, stay tuned till the very end. As a bonus, we are going to mess around with the melody slightly in order to focus on some rhythmic displacement or anticipation here and there with respect to those notes. Okay, before we get started, you can find the notation for this entire lesson on our Patreon channel. Do consider supporting us there. You'll also get my handwritten notes and the MIDI files. Also, there's a subscribe button somewhere there. Do consider pressing it and turn on the bell for regular notifications. Let's get cracking. So our melody, first of all, probably start with your middle finger or ring finger. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so crotchet, crotchet, quaver, quaver, crotchet, crotchet, minim. Repeat. Quarter note, eighth notes, quarter, quarter, half. Okay, and move your head. You can also tap the pulse with your leg. Let's do that together. Move your body. Sing also. Okay, that's the melody line for you. So now coming to the left hand, the arpeggio pattern I have for you would be, so that'll be 1, 5, octave, 9, 10, 9, octave, 5, sa pa sa re ga re sa pa sa re ga re sa pa sa. Okay, so it goes beyond the octave. That's why we call this as a 9. I tend to also write the octave with a 1 apostrophe, the 9 with a 2 apostrophe, and the 3, or in this case minor third 3 flat with a 3 flat apostrophe. So you can check it out in the notation or even my handwritten note. So the pattern is 1 pinky on E, index E, F sharp, G, F sharp, E. We are taking E minor as the pillar or the pivot chord. We'll change it later, but for now, let's get this going. And the first activity would be to practice this in quavers. So quavers would be double of the pulse. So if this is the pulse, 1, 2, 3, divide by 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and... So this is the bass. From here, we have 2 variations which you can practice, or speed control changes. One is you slow it down to literally the pulse speed. 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's every beat or every note is the value of a beat or goes with your head movement. Repeat. Now we go back to Quaver. Try to move seamlessly. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and... Okay, and then of course this next speed could be the semi-quaver speed. Where you do 4 notes for every 1 pulse. And as you go faster or even in the slower version, try to cross your wrist not as a sudden movement, not a sudden movement there, but it is as a gradual movement so that you protect your wrist won't hurt. In the long run also it's good. So the moment I hit this E, I'm already prepared to cross over my middle finger and using my wrist to do so. There we go. And it's advisable to keep the thumb anchored to where it is in this case as much as you possibly can. I see some students going like this, where you push the thumb away. Now to get it back to the default point will be another brain activity. So keep your thumb around there. However, if you prefer to take it away, try, but I prefer to keep it here because you'll get some serious speed. Okay, and if you want to really push forward, you can even do 30-second notes, which is 8 hits in a beat, basically. So okay, let's do the speed variations with a metronome running at 60. And it's a tip while using the metronome. We are not going to change the speed at all for the entire lesson. And even when you practice, you can keep it to 60, but do speed variations around the 60. So if I go double, these are quavers. 1 and 2 and 3 and repeat. Demi junu ta. Let's go half of that now. Let's go into 4. Actually into 2 currently. As you keep changing speeds, you need to recover. So keep listening to the metronome, but don't depend on it too much. You should also know where the double is going to You don't need the metronome to now play at 240 BPM, right? Which will be 16th note speed. So keep this going. And of course, you can do the 30-second. Move your body, continue to relax with the pulse. So when you focus on speed, you need to do it in parallel with control. It's sort of like anyone can probably move a car or a bike really fast, but then how long can you sustain that? You might slip, you might fall, or worst case crash. So on the piano, the crashing effect or the falling effect would be you have no clue about what you're doing. It slips, it leaves the timing, and if you're playing in an ensemble, even worse. The singer is, way before what you're playing. You've already crossed by about 3 bars or 3 beats or whatever it might be. Okay, so when we focus on speed, we need to focus on building confidence, on supporting and still supporting the ensemble, and then developing control with the metronome and improving our timing while building speed. We are not just trying to gradually increment and play faster. I don't recommend that approach, even though that gamified practice routine is good, wherein you do 60, then 65, then 68, then 72 BPM, and then so on and so forth. You could also consider this metronome app called Pro Metronome, which I focused on. I'll leave you a link in the description on how exactly to use a metronome with all its modern features, including the rhythm trainer mode, the practice mode where you can increment the BPM as per your requirement, and so many other ways. You can get into subdivision mode and so on and so forth. Okay, now let's put the melody together with this left hand. My advice would be, before you try playing it, what people tend to do is we tend to equate the hit points of the right hand with the hit points of the left hand. Instead of that, Go in a more natural bottom-up approach where you sing the melody, get your body used to the melody, and then you just play it on the right hand. So you're singing it, brain sends a signal here, it can send the same signal here too, but start with the singing, which is, it's something we all do, right? So if I go in Quavers speed, let's try and do it with the metronome at 60. 1 2 3 4. So it's always a good practice to move your body to the pulse before you play. Double it up, 2 3, by saying 1 and 2 and 3 and so 1 2 3 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, once this is in kind of autopilot mode, you can bring in the melody slowly but surely. So sing it. With quavers in the left. Now, slowly, once you're ready to play that melody with the right hand, you're trying your best to kind of trust the left hand. You should trust the left hand and then just roll with it and let your voice guide the right hand and the entire ecosystem. Now, that one regular challenge I find with students is don't do that. So now you're doing note for note copy in both hands, right? See, hit, now faster. So that's not the pattern for the left hand. You've messed up the left hand pattern, which should now be Demi, double it up. Which is precisely why I have this exercise. It'll develop your hand independence in a very organic way. So one, ta, na, na, na. So when the melody doubles, the left hand continues to play quavers. 2, 3, 4. Ta, na, 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 de. And the melody speed is not going to change for the entirety of the lesson. We will displace it here and there later. Stay tuned. So now let's do the changes of speed with respect to the left hand. So now let's do changes of speed with respect to the left hand. So we started with quavers. What about the slow speed? Crotchet. What I like about crotchets is it makes you think where exactly and which exactly is my note. And it might actually clash with the right hand, even though they are both playing in the same speed. You might think quarter notes are easy, but trust me, you should practice that as well. You get some interesting harmony. So these are crotchets, quarter notes. Come back to quavers. Back to crotchets. Maybe semiquavers in the left. Add some stacks to the right hand. If you want to add some thirds. Back to quavers. Crotchets. Back to Quavers. Semiquavers. Maybe even faster. That would be 8 30-second notes. And if you'd like to change the chords from E minor, you can probably translate to G minor. So you'll have to change the melody. Maybe D minor. With a click. And I've transposed the melody in the right hand as what was it originally? 5, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, flat 1, 1. So you just replicate that. You can even go with Swaras. So that could be pa 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 ma ga re ga sa sa, and on D pa 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 ma ga re ga sa sa. Repeat. And you can keep toggling. I would encourage you to do it on all the white minor chords. G minor. B minor. So to conclude the lesson, we've had some fun with speed variations of the left hand. We've had some fun with transposition. But what if we change the melody in the first place? Just slightly displace beats here and there. So let's do that. First off, I'm going to displace beat number 2. By displacement, I just mean take it where it was. Most of these notes are on the beat. From the on beat spot, move them to the off beat. So that's the original. So now you can do what happened there. I moved the 2 to the end. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so 1, 2, 3, 4. Pa, 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 da, re, da, re, da, da. With the up. Da, pa, da, 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 re, da, da. Melody. Semiquavers in the left. Okay, next one could be in the bar number 2. Let's displace beat number 1 to the end of 1. So that'll be tung tung ta da dee da te re te. Bum ba dum ba bum 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 ba ba ba. Play. Bum ba da dee da be da ba. Repeat. Bum ba da dee da be da da. Of course, you can also displace too. So combining those two variations. Okay, now what about bar 2? Beat 2 gets displaced. So tung tung da da dee da dee da da dee da da. Repeat. Semiquavers in the left. So finally, what about bar 2, beat 2 as well as 3 anticipated? So tang 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 ta re ra te ra ta. Anticipation means going before. Tang chika tang chika tang dan 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 te ra ta. Repeat. Sing. Always focus on singing. Right, so hope you found the lesson useful. You'll find the notation, my handwritten notes with the chords and the arpeggio written down, and even the swaras available on our Patreon. Don't forget to also hit that subscribe and turn on the bell for regular notifications. Thanks a ton for watching the video, and a lot of students keep messaging in the comments as well as on our website asking how do I gain structure to these YouTube lessons. Well, the answer is there are lots of them available. You can find a proper structure in our free tutorial section. So head over to nathanielschool.com, and if you'd like even more structure, you can consider our video courses where it's just self-paced learning. You have these ever-growing video collections where, you can learn a bunch of topics: ear training, theory, piano at the foundation level, intermediate, advanced, lot of things. Okay, I will catch you in the next one. Cheers.